Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you a tool that will allow you to publish a course out to xAPI, upload it to an AWS site, and track the information, as well as get information to this tool and then be able to generate reports and ask questions about the data from this tool. And the tool itself only costs like $50 a month. And that basically allows you to get data like an LMS without having to have an LMS. So let's dive into this tool. And I've talked about this tool before. You can go ahead and check that out, where I talk about uploading a PDF, I talk about uploading a video and so forth. But I specifically want to focus on how to generate data and how to get data from a course. And then from that, how to run reports from that course. Now, the tool I'm going to be talking about is called XCL. You can check it out by going to buildcapable.com. I will leave a direct link to it below. But if you go to buildcapable.com, you can go to tools, then you can go to XCL. So this allows you to track learning without having to have a full learning management system. So you can host your content wherever. You can even host the content on XCL, and then you can basically track that content and then download the data and make sense of it. So let's talk about the course. Now, inside of this course, now out of the box, Storyline does have a lot of xAPI statements that just get sent over to the Learning Record Store. There's not really anything you can do to change that, but it helps you to make sense of it. And then you could even just specify not to focus on that if you didn't want to as well. But it sends over an experienced verb, sends over a left verb. In that left verb, it does share the amount of time that is actually spent on that page. Now, on top of that, you can also execute custom xAPI statements. So if I come into xAPI statement here, I can change the verb out. And I can also pull in the page if I wanted to reference the page. I can pull in the object that they clicked on, and I can just type in some custom text. So I have done that for this course, and I have already uploaded it to my AWS site. And then what I did is, after I added those custom statements, is I went ahead and I published this out to xAPI. And so if you come into LMS, LRS, I don't even need to report it to an external learning record store. All I need to do is actually publish this out to xAPI or CMI5. And so when I hit publish, it created all the files for me. I then upload it to my AWS site, which I have a video that you can check out that talks all about uploading it to the AWS site and getting the link for it. That's all I have to do. Once this is on my AWS site, which I have the link here, then I can go into Build Capable. Now, inside of Build Capable, you can create a brand template. Now, this brand template allows you to have your own logo. It allows you to add on your own text. It allows you to specify if you want this to be anonymous or you actually want to capture the person's name. If you get the enterprise license, you can also have them integrate with your single sign-on. Extremely flexible. Build Capable is a great company to work with. I've known them for years. But once you have that template, you can then come in and create a link. So by clicking on Create New Link, you can go ahead and give it a name. You can also select the drop-down box of which template you want to use. When you create a template, you specify if you want this to be an external learning record store that you're sending it over to, or if you just want it to be in XCL. So you could also send it over to your own learning record store if you have it, or you can just use XCL as a full learning record store. You don't even need to have any type of learning system. This also works if you have your content in SCORM. So even if you have it SCORM wrapped, basically, you can upload it to XCL and you can have it there as well. So I don't even need to place it on an AWS site either. Even though that's what I'm doing here, I could actually place this on, or I could upload this right to XCL and host it that way as well. Makes that a whole lot easier as well. All right, so now once I have that, this is where I can change the text. I go ahead and click on the link. This is where I can upload my SCORM package. I can upload a PowerPoint, a Word doc, an Excel file, a PNG, PDF, all kinds of things. And then this is where I place that URL, which in this case is my AWS site. And this is where I also specify, is this just a website or if it's actually xAPI published content, which in this case it is. I did publish it as xAPI. Now, if I go over to the next link, it says publish link or preview your content. I've already done that, so I'm going to click on cancel here. And now I'm going to go in and I'm going to, let me delete that previous one here. So this is the one that I just created, but I want to go into the one that I have actually been working with already. And from here, you can get a QR code that you can share with your learners, or you can get a link and you just click on copy link, and that will give you a link that you can send out to your learners. Now, what happens is when they click on that link, if it was done through the single sign-on, it would have them log in through the single sign-on. But in this case, I'm just having them capture in their person and their email. This is how you know how it will link it to the person. This is the benefit of xAPI, is knowing who has taken the training. So anonymous is great, especially if you're working with like data. If you have data issues where you can't store the person's name, you can do it as anonymous and you can at least get, okay, how are my learners interacting with my data? But in this case, I want to know who it is so I can associate what they've done, which in the future allows me to adjust things or deliver additional training based on what they've done. I have gone through the training because I don't want to focus on that right now, but I've gone through the training and I've clicked on different things. I've clicked on the like button. I've clicked on different interactions as well. At some point, there is a tab interaction where I click on the tab interaction, and I have gone through that. So I don't want to cover that because I do cover that in my previous videos. I cover how that data comes in. What I want to do is I want to actually explore the data inside of XCL. I want to then download that data and show you a GPT that will allow you to make sense of that data. And that's really where I want to focus on with this video. So if I come into XCL and I'm going to go back into here and click on cancel right now, and I'm going to go into my analytics section. Now they do have some out of the box data that comes up. So you can see with different links, here's my first link that I created. Here is my second link that I've created. I have 2 different people that have gone through the course. You can see how many launched versus how many completed, how many actually clicked on the link versus how many completed the course. Extremely helpful to know. But this is pretty basic data. It's a pretty basic dashboard. So that's where you can ask yourself, okay, what do I do with this data? How can I make sense of my xAPI data? Or how do I get more of that? So that is where the activity stream comes into play. So if I go into the activity stream, this gives you all of the data that has come in. This tells you the person's name. This tells you the verb that they interacted with. And that includes the verbs that come out of the box with Storyline, but it also includes the custom verbs that you've created. So the custom statements. If you want to learn how to create custom statements, check out, and I'll link to it at the end of the video as well. Check out this video and that will show you how to create custom statements. I have tons of resources and I have a full course that you can check out if you want to dive into that. And so here's my verb, here's my object definition. And then if I wanted to add results like, the amount of time or at certain data points and I want to add, you can customize all of that inside of Storyline. Extremely flexible, but the type of data that you get out of it could depend on what type of data you're sending to it inside of Storyline. So that's a whole different conversation in and of itself. The amount and the type and the resources and the duration and whatever you're adjusting as far as the results, that could then help with your reporting. Now, this is just the basic line. If I go ahead and click on this plus icon, this tells me all of the data that's there. So in this case, I see that the extension is both, they chose the temperature of 6 and then they chose the temperature of 25. It's important to note these because the tool that we're going to cover soon will actually help you make sense of the data, but you need to tell it where to kind of find the data or what data you're looking for. So that's where going back to the strategy with xAPI and Storyline could come in handy. All right, so now what I'm going to do with all of this data, that's great, but I want to create some graphs. I want to ask it questions. What does this mean? Where are some of the gaps? What are the most visited pages? Things like that. That's where you can go in and use this GPT, which I'll create a link to the GPT in the description below. So make sure you check that out as well. But if I click on this download raw statements, this will download the JSON file for me. So it is basically just raw data. Now, if I come into ChatGPT here, you could just use a regular chat and just ask it questions and say, hey, this is a JSON file. Can you help me create some graphs? Can you help me make sense of this as well? But XCL has created their own custom GPT that already understands what JSON is what xAPI data is and the types of things that you're looking for. So I'm going to create that link. If you have ChatGPT and you can do custom GPTs, then you can get to this as well. If you don't, or if you just use Copilot or something like that, you could just bring that into Copilot, the JSON file, and I'm sure it can still give you some of that data. You just may have to kind of tweak it or specify certain things that you're wanting. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste or move this JSON data in here. And then I want to say, what are the most common, or actually let's just create some basic graphs. Here is some of my xAPI data. Create a graph that shows me all experienced verbs and the page names for those verbs. Okay, so it's going to ingest the data, and then you can start to ask questions about it. You can say, what does this mean? What are the gaps? Create a graph on the amount of time spent on each page. You can follow up on that. So it's going to analyze this JSON data, but you can see right here, I'm going to expand this out here. You can see right here, the amount of experienced on each of these verbs is pretty much the same across the board. So maybe I want to ask something different here. And I'm going to just minimize that again. And so let's say create a chart that shows me the amount of time spent on each page. And going back into that data here, remember, if I expand this out, you'll notice that the slider was chosen, the temperature was chosen, and the time was chosen as well. I want to ask about that. But you can see here, if I come in and expand this out, it does have the amount of time. Now, the Cooking 101 is the amount of time for the entire course. I don't want that. I just want the pages. So now I can specify, let's go ahead and minimize that image, remove the 01 Cooking 101. And I think you can do this and use this ChatGPT for any JSON data that's coming from your learning record store. So even if you don't use XCL, you could actually download the raw data and you can use this to create custom reports and help you make sense of the data. So now it's removed that. So if I expand this out, now you can see that the most time spent is on the video page. You can see here the steps page, or like this page, multiple response question, was the second. So it's giving me some important data. $50 a month to get all of this type of data. And then you can just download this right here, and you can download that and you could share that out with somebody, saying this is the amount of time and the pages that are spent, the amount of time per page that people are spending inside of our course. Why wouldn't you want to know that type of data? Why wouldn't you want to know this to improve your courses, to get better at your courses? This is why I love xAPI. I know sometimes people are like, well, xAPI is not really being that adopted or anything. It's becoming more relevant. I mean, if you do it right, it gives you the right data. It gives you information that you're not going to get out of SCORM. And you do not need to know code in order to do this. You do need to adjust some of the JSON, but ChatGPT, I have videos on that too. ChatGPT can actually generate the JSON for you. Now is the time to use xAPI data. And this is why I love XCL, because it makes it easy. It makes it approachable. It makes it affordable in order for you to do that. But if you use something like even what I've used in the past, which is SCORM Cloud, you could even use that data from their learning record store, download it, and use it inside of this XCL GPT as well. Now let's go ahead and create a report on that temperature. And I always forget. So on the temperature and the time. All right, so let's go ahead and come back into our GPT. Give me data on the temp chosen and the time chosen. And let's get the title of the page here. So for slider and dial, for the slider and dial page. Okay, so here's the data showing temperature, time, and chosen. So if I click on that, it will expand out here. Joe Schmo chose temperature of about 6. And so apparently I did. James McGee showed that as well. If I click on slider and dial, this gives me the details right here, formatted in an Excel document. Man alive, I don't know why I get so excited about data. I think I need to see a therapist about why I get excited about data. Maybe, or something. I don't know. I get excited. It's because all of this is possible. All of this is there. And you can get that data from XCL. You can get that data from any learning record store, honestly. And you can download it and use this GPT to help make sense of it. It's already out of the box. You can just download it and just basically create some graphs and other things like that. You could even create, using Cursor AI or using something like Lovable, you could actually even take the JSON and tell it to create a dashboard that you can just feed in new data every single time, and it will automatically update the dashboard. So there's a lot of possibilities. It's really just a matter of you getting to know xAPI, you getting to know how to put that inside of Storyline and format that inside of Storyline, and then how to make sense of the data using a tool like XCL or using a tool like any learning record store, and then using a tool like ChatGPT to help you make sense of the data. I'm going to ask one more thing here. So let's go ahead and exit out of that right there. Can you see any gaps that I need to focus on with my learners? So right here, yes. Let's look at the slider and dial interaction to identify. So what the data shows, James McGee chosen 6, time chosen 25. So limited range of responses. So both users chose the temperature of 6, which could be good if correct, or a sign that they're just guessing by default. Which is true, I was just randomly selecting things. But differences in time values. And so it helps kind of even help make sense of the data. And you can ask it questions about the data and it will help kind of at least give you some ideas there. So many possibilities. I wanted to cover that, kind of dive a little bit. It's been a while since I've talked about xAPI, but it's still relevant. And I am teaching this year, I'm teaching my xAPI Accelerator course again at DevLearn and this one is in November. And so we're going to dive into xAPI. And if you like more hands-on instruction, in-person instruction, make sure you head on over to devlearn.com and you sign up for the xAPI Accelerator course, which is one day before the conference, but we're in xAPI all day long. You can also check out more by heading over to my website at learningdojo.ninja. If you click on the blog link, it'll take you to my blog where you can check out all previous blog posts on xAPI or Storyline as well. So you can go ahead and filter that out. You can also check out full courses. I do have full courses on xAPI fundamentals where you can do kind of your self-paced. I also have Storyline and JavaScript if you did want to dive into JavaScript as well. And then I highly recommend you sign up for a trial of XCL or even get the account of XCL because it can help you dive right into xAPI and really get started with it. That's all I have for today. So if you like this video, head on over to my YouTube channel, click the like button, as well as subscribe to my channel and hit the bell notification so you get notified of all future videos as they come in. That really helps my channel, allows me to continue to create these videos for you to help you become a better learning developer and also to help me reach more learning developers as well. It really helps with the algorithm if you do that. All right, that's all I have. So thanks everyone. I'll see you next time.